Well, it was the great Leonardo da Vinci who once said learning never exhausts the mind. In December, I traveled to India following top Maryland officials on a trade mission. Some of the top colleges and universities were also on this trip, looking for ways to collaborate and learn. It is widely believed that the 21st century will be dominated by Asian powers, with India and China being key players. World's largest democracy, India is fast emerging as a force in the global economy. Governor Martin O'Malley, on his recent trip to the country, took along with him representatives from Johns Hopkins, Morgan State, University of Maryland College Park, and Baltimore and Montgomery College. India has a huge task of educating and providing skills for nearly 350 million people in the coming years. India will need to create 1,000 new college and universities in the next 25 years to handle the domestic demand for higher education. The delegation visited the Indian School of Business in Hyderabad. With a modern building and a pool of international faculty, the school, which was established just 10 years ago, is now consistently ranked among the top business schools globally. Former President George Bush visited the ISB campus in 2006.
There was a recent McKinsey report which says that 350 million Indians are going to emigrate from rural India to urban India in the next 20 years. That is the largest ever immigration in human history. One whole United States moving out. Now, think of what the implications of that will be in terms of urbanization, climate, environment, healthcare, housing, education, skilling, the works. If we don't manage that well, we are in deep trouble.
So what role will these American colleges play? Ashok Agarwala teaches computer science at UMCP and says American schools should collaborate with Indian schools to offer better programs.
Coming from India and having observed how Indian educational establishment has been functioning now for 35, 40 years that I've been observing it, there are tremendous needs, and India is not going to be able to meet all of those needs by its own resources. So collaborative programs have to be developed.
The way I see it is really something like a private-public partnership where somebody is willing to build the facilities and really build the infrastructure, and that we provide the knowledge and the content and the new methods of education.
One of the reasons for my coming here is to see how we can collaborate together. There is much that we can learn from India, just as hopefully there's something that India can learn from American higher education.
Dr. David Wilson, the president of Morgan State University, says he came to India to expand opportunities for his students back in the U.S.
There was a recent report released here in India which basically said that India has a need for 44 million engineers and civil engineers and architects and planners and designers. 44 million. And we at Morgan have one of the best schools of architecture and planning in the country. We are just finishing work on the Center for the Built Environment and Infrastructure Studies. And so we have this very unique expertise at Morgan.
We have probably about 300 Indian students at UMBC. What's exciting is they're coming to work with faculty who have Indian roots and learning from them. We're also seeing an increasing number of those students coming back to India for internships. We're working with American companies in the U.S. during their study time as undergraduates or graduates, and then returning to India to work full-time for those companies when they graduate. So it's great.
Now, in my next installment, we'll talk to some Indian students. We'll talk to some students who are from India who chose the University of Maryland College Park for their higher studies.